So here we are today, Bardstown Bourbon Company. Later on we'll be taking a tour of the facility. So check back and see how it goes. It's an awfully impressive building from the outside, I have to say. Move over to a few of the rick houses. This is about as modern a building as you're going to find nowadays. Really impressive. The architectural design is extremely classy. All right, let's head in for a tour.
Yeah, that's why I joined forces with Dan Garnett, and we started out this idea. At that point, it's going to be production pretty much for us. We got together, looked around, found this property, started laying out design, kind of where we thought we were going to, and then I actually started dirt work in late 14, early 15. We started building. The building started out bigger than what it is now. We kind of collapsed some of it, compacted some of it together, and made it this size. We put all the production facility pretty much around what at that time was going to be visitor experience where they started. Once the restaurant got going and the bar, kind of Kentucky laws changed where that was going to take off and do its thing. That all needed to become the restaurant, bar, that experience. So the visitors experience is going to be moved, I guess that's north into the next room, and then we'll start to come through this part of it. We got everything built, ready to start September of 2016. At that point in time, we had sold enough production to fill that capacity at 1.5 million per gallon. And we hadn't even started the still yet. So people, with that philosophy, that program started, everybody got coming. Part of that was Heaven Hill, Barton's Beams, all of those were needing their product. So they cut, if you were buying from them, they kind of cut you off. Another part of it is we offer custom. So if you had a product that you had been getting from any one of these others, the MGP included, we took that product and kind of critiqued it to exactly what you wanted. So that was an addition to it also. There, if you went any of these others, you got what they had.
So was that one of the things early on for you guys that you decided you wanted to partner with a lot of these other companies to kind of collaborate on?
We wanted to customize what they were doing, not just buy off the market and get whatever you got. I mean, if the quality and quantity was there, you would go buy 100 barrels from this company, 100 from that. So you kind of mix them together to get what you wanted. Here, you can do exactly what you want with everything that you produce, and we have 22 customers. I think this year we're going to have 37, 38 mash bills. So within that, we allow you to come in and you've got this product going, and you say, well, I want to try this one. I've never made it, but I want to try it. So we'll branch out and do that too. So we'll.
I mean, it's great from a standpoint of allowing these other people who come in and maybe don't even realize that they want something and maybe try something different and ultimately end up with some completely different product than what they started out thinking that they wanted.
Yeah, and they'll branch out. You know, they'll have their core product like Kentucky Owl. They'll have their product, but they'll also have this other product that they've developed within this scope. And they can also bring their team here. And there's some of the companies will bring their production team here and work with my employees to develop. And if they bring in sales team, promotional sales, whatever, they bring them here and say, hey, this is where my product's made, and I help make it. And we have a full lab that we evaluate and do all the lab work with it. And you know, this is their home in essence, where they couldn't do that before with any of the others.
No, that's super impressive. I mean, that's just one of the neat things, just being able to like read and see what it is that you offer to, you know, a customer, is that experience, just to let them be very like interactive and kind of just be their
home.
Their home.
Right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
their home.
So with that same philosophy in mind, we ran September of 2016 on through. The demand was still there, so July of 17, we expanded, we doubled. We went from 1.5 million to 3 million proof gallons, or about 50,000 barrels a year. We still had that all full, and we had almost no capacity above what we had contracts for. So we went there, we got that all kind of settled in, got to working through September, October, November, and all that. We kept having demands. You know, people, hey, can I get some production there? Well, July of 18, we doubled again. We went to 6.8 million proof gallons, or about 120,000 barrels of product. All of that, well, probably 95% of that's under contract through the next 5 years. So, you know.
At what point can you no longer, based on the equipment you've got, I mean, at what point can you no longer produce?
Right now.
In this building.
I was kind of assuming that. It seemed like based on just everything that you've got going on, that we're probably, you know, at max capacity right now. So.
Well, and the thought process behind that was when we first designed this building, you know, they said we want to go 1.5 million, a few years down the road go 3 million, a few more years down the road go to 6 million. Well, my thought when they said that was 10 years, 20 years, you know, 30 years, that's when we reach it.
Not 2 and 4 years.
Not 6 months, 8 months, a year, year and a half, you know, that wasn't part of it. But, you know, I'm not sure right now that we won't need to expand again. But the next expansion is going to be more involved. It's going to be adding to the building. You know, I cannot get another steel in the steel tower. There's not room out here for another cooker in this space. So then we have to really expand the building. All we've done thus far is just added enough room to put in more fermenters.
I mean, does at some point this area just end up being more of a customer experience, and now you've got more of like an off-site area where you're doing what you're doing now, or is this always going to be a little bit of that?
I think it will always be a full experience.
Okay.
I think you'll always have distillation, primary distillation going right here.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever evolve in that direction. I think, you know, they're so focused on the experience that's going to be a main part of it. You know, the custom production was kind of rolled into that. The experience, the transparency was always forethought on that. So, okay, let's go on into the production area if you want to. Now, it's going to be ADA compliant. We have an elevator, a tour pass, so that anybody can go through the facility. There's no restrictions. We want everybody to get to have the experience. Some of the equipment's hot, so kind of be careful. This is not real bad hot, but it's pretty warm. This is the cooker. This is where we mix the grains together. All the grains are kept separate until they enter this cooker. We put each grain in at a certain temperature to convert the starches into the grain to a form of fermentable sugar. So we'll actually go up to about 212 degrees, and then we'll go back down to 140. And at different points in time, we will add the grains to it to get the full conversion. Each one of these cookers will hold about 425 bushel of grain. That will translate to about 30 to 33 barrels of product. Depending on the mash bill that we have and the yield that we have, it'll be somewhere in that range. We do 10 of these fermenters a day, or 10 of these cookers a day go into the fermenters. That translates to about 320, 330 barrels of product.
It's basically 24/7.
It is 24/7. We cycle every 2.5 hours. We'll fill and dump one of these cookers. So again, we do about 10 a day. We made them glass bandways in them, so no matter what part of the process they're in, the visitors can still see what's inside of it. Even with that closed, you can still see what's going on in there. And that's been, a lot of times you go to a distillery and they say, this is hot, we can't see. We want you to see no matter what stage it's at. That's the consistency. That's malted barley there that we grind it to. We really don't want it to a flour because it becomes pasty in the mix. We just get it ground to where when we cook it, the moisture, water will penetrate into the particles and release the starches in them. I think he's bringing this one up, so he's added the corn to it. He's getting ready to cook it up. That one's on its way down, so we cycle them all the time. Can't see real clear out there now because it's dark, but we have whole grain storage bins over on the left. Each grain is kept separate through this part of the process. We grind them, put them into ground grain bins. They are on flow cells so that we meter everything that goes into the cooker itself. Each grain is kept separate until it enters the cooker, then they're combined together. There's some tall tanks on pedestals over here that are the spent here of the slot tanks. We put them in just like it comes off the steel. The truck's back under there, load, take it to the cattle. It's a high protein feed. We've taken the starch out of it, but none of the protein. But it still has all that in it. The trough.
That's a real win-win. So you get to just give it off to the farmer, where otherwise you'd have all this grain everywhere. So
that piles up, and nobody likes that. So we're in trouble.
yeah.
There's a cylinder out here that's a strainer. We strain off some of the stillage. We put back that back set and goes back into the production cycle. That is used as a pH balancer. We try to keep the pH between a 4.8 and a 5.2. That's the environment that the yeast works better in. So that's the target to do. We use just enough. Of course, water 7. By the time we put the grains in, it's about 6 back set in to lower it down to 4.8 to 5.2.
That's a small variance.
Yeah, yeah. And we usually use somewhere around 2,000 gallons of back set, and we'll adjust that. Different recipes will have different pH that come off the steel, so we adjust it according to the.
That's the interesting part. You always just think of a mash bill as just a mash bill, but there's so many other variances that kind of factor into just what goes into that mash bill.
Well, if you're running, say, 1 or 2 mash bills, you have a constant of everything going in. We're running 33, 38 mash bills, so it's always like this. If we shift from one to the other, we have to kind of allow for that to get it.
So you really don't have much to do here with that based on only 32 different.
Mostly just aggravate them at the bar, and try their cocktails and all. About all I do.
I can see you guys trying to sit around and just drink all day. I mean, there's nothing else to do.
We do a lot of that.
Well, it is crazy because this morning we were running Jefferson's, kind of more of a standard recipe, and now it's a wheat, so to make that turnover is crazy.
The customization that we use, this procedure is followed for each recipe for each customer. So we have 35, soon to be 38 procedures that we go through when we change, we will change this sheet. We'll meet with the operators, tell them what's going on. But to get this sheet together, we will sit down with the customer and go over every single phase: water, backset, grains, cook temperatures, yeast, enzymes, anything that deals with the product. We go over and make sure that's what you want. And then we've only had this happen one time, but if we go through this entire process and the product comes out and you don't like it, you don't take it. We take it back and we'll do something with it. But we're here to please you. We're here to make your product, not whatever you have to take. We go and do what you want. So we go through this with every customer on every mash bill.
It's a lot of different.
A lot of variables.
Little bit of variable. And then any things that could change, we will do on the dry erase board. Like right now we're setting at 84. Last week we were setting at 88. Some of that's weather changes. Some of it is the fact that maybe they're not working off completely, so we change that to make them work down.
It's just crazy how much other stuff all the behind the scenes stuff there is.
The system we have here is set up semi-automatically. The procedure that's on the paper is loaded into here. It tells the operator that, okay, I've reached temperature, it's time to hold me, or it's time to cool down. The operator will actually go and open the valves to do it. The thought behind this is that visitors coming in, they want to see people doing things, not just sitting here punching buttons and not really knowing what's going on over there. So that's kind of the thought behind, just to be more of an experience for the visitors coming through. As I said earlier, we started out running 4 days a week, 20 hours a day. We had these 8 fermenters, and we cycled them through day after day. The next year we went to 3 million proof gallons. We added 8 more fermenters, which are back in the new wood you see back here. There's 8 more back there just like it. We started running 1 cooker, 1 still, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we cycled through at that time about 35 fermenters a week. Okay, this past July, we needed to double again. So we added 16 more fermenters, a total of 32 fermenters. We add another cooker, another still. We run both cookers, both stills, 24/7. We cycle 70 fermenters a week through the process. As you can tell, the air is a little bit thin in here.
Yeah.
That's the CO2 that's being given off.
Really?
We have a system that pulls it out, but with all 8 fermenters, it's so much in here that it's having trouble keeping up.
I was actually, when you said that, I was thinking that was like, that's kind of like difficult to like catch your breath, like to get your breath.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Like I said, there's a cleansing system. CO2, if you look, can't really see it now with the dark outside, but you see a gas coming over the edge of the fermenter. That goes down and the air system pulls it out. But there's so much, with all 8 of them working full, there's so much, it's just quite a bit.
That's weird. It's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
It really is a weird feeling.
You thought it was you, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll kind of go on in here where there's no CO2 at. It's very seldom all 8 of them will be
like
working this hard.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of CO2 being developed.
Yeah, they're all like bubbling the same amount right now. Usually they're all, yeah.
Most times, some of them are getting older and slowing down, or they're new and haven't started yet. Right now, I think this is about the worst it's been for a long time. So it's not just you, it's us. There we go. Are you breathing a little easier now? Another thing we've added, of course, without any backlight, it's harder to see, but with glass in the steel, you can see what's going on inside the steel while it's running. And what's happening in here, we're pumping the fermented mash, what you saw in the fermenters, into the top of the steel. There are plates about every 2.5 feet all the way up through the steel. And as this mixture comes in the top, we're injecting steam into the bottom of it. We're vaporizing the alcohol as it works its way down through the steel. Steam going up is vaporizing. Alcohol vaporizes at a lower temperature than water. So we work between that temperature range to get the proof that we want. More steam, we vaporize more water, we get a lower proof. Less steam, we vaporize less water, we get a higher proof.
Is this column larger than normal?
This is the same size that Maker's Mark has. It's a 36 inch. Actually, this is not, it's kind of a mid-range steel. I know Bartons and Beams have either a 60 or 72 inch steel. And we run 45 gallon a minute through here of the fermented mash. They run about 250 gallon a minute through it. So the plates are, this big and it runs across, and the stream coming out up there is going to be about this big around. So it's huge. Once it's distilled here, go through a condenser, cool it back down, change it back to a liquid. It goes through the left side at right now we're running about 120 proof, 60% alcohol. We want to clean it up more. At this point it still has some more oily, non-distillate, funky taste to it that it's not desirable. So we run it through a doubler. That's what's right below it there. Most of the water's been removed from this mixture, so it's a lot easier to distill. We heat it up again, vaporize it, goes to a second condenser. A condenser is merely a water tube tank that cools the vapor down to a liquid. Comes out on the right side at about 130 proof for about 65% alcohol. At this point, it's ready to go into the tank to go into the barrel. And I would take you upstairs, but it's hotter up there than it is down here. And it's dark, we can't see anyway. So if you're okay, we'll not do that. But, well, let's go to the lab and we'll do some tasting now. So we keep that in here and stays below 38 degrees. That keeps the yeast cells dormant. When we get ready to inoculate a fermenter, we'll pull an amount out, put it into the fermenter, and let it start working. Some of the yeast we use is dehydrated, so we will rehydrate it and put it into the fermenter. So that's just a refrigerator all it is. This is an after cooler. The cooker, when we finish the process, ends up about 140 degrees. We need to get it down to 84 to go into the fermenter. So we have cooling tower water, chill water. We run it through this tube-in tube, run it through there, cool it down, and get it to the fermenter at the right temperature.
These are all cooling tubes.
It's all cooling tubes. Chill water on the bottom part, cooling tower water on the top part.
Well, Sam's got a steady arm. You can show it.
What we want to show you here is this is part of our array of production on this end, and then some of our collaboration, infusion, and other products that we're working on. These two, of course, are on the market. These will be in the future.
And is all of this your stuff, or is this
No.
other
This
clients?
this is all our stuff.
Okay.
Stuff we produced. This is actually a product we bought, and we used it in the collaboration. We picked product out of the warehouse, mixed it together, sent it to Copper and Kings. They put it in the respective barrels, aged it for 18 months, and then that's what come out. This one is not our product. It's some more collaboration that we've done on Where's the infusion at?
Fusion back
Right here.
Right there.
Right here. This is somebody else's mature product, and we're going to take some 2-year-old rye whiskey of ours and mix with it to make an infusion system.
You got to work on your code name. Oh, okay, never mind. I see. I thought it just said Wild Tea, and that was the code name.
It does. Wild tea.
You're really trying to throw a wrinkle in that whole thing. Wild tea. Wild tea.
You couldn't figure that out.
I mean, those are the greatest codes I've ever heard. So if you're trying to be secretive, you're doing a good job.
Well, to throw you off, it could be something else. We're leading you in that direction.
That's very true. That's very true.
But if you want, I mean, you can film as long as you want, but we're going to try some of this. And what we're looking at is the difference of the amounts of grain that are in a product, and then when you switch to another grain as a flavoring grain, what it does to the product, and kind of on through, and then we get to a stage of what the barrel infuses into, because this has been in the barrel for about 1.5 years, and it gives you the influence that the barrel has on this product. And then we get into the fusion series, and then on into collaboration. These two are on the market.
Quite a bit of this, as my wife can
These are coming. Which one is the?
Looks like you got the apple brandy here. This is the Mistel finish. Really cool. This is one of my favorites we do. The Mistel finish thrown back into New American Oak.
Oh,
gives it a little more bottom to it. It's awesome.
Interesting.
And then you got the Curacao finish here, which I think could almost function like a Grand Marnier. It's got so many orange notes. It's awesome.
Interesting.
And then
the one, the Pavitt up on the end, that's going to be coming out real soon.
This
probably
one.
the first of the year is what we took. Susan Pavitt, a great winemaker in California. She dumped some which barrels? Chardonnay.
This is our Cabernet. Yeah.
Okay. She dumped some of the barrels, put them in a refrigerated trailer, shipped them out here, and we filled them back with bourbon whiskey.
Interesting.
So it's a real good product. It's turning out real good. Probably in a couple more months we'll dump it. Maybe less than that. It might be next month. We'll dump it and get it made towards the bottle. And then these are some that are in the works that sometime this year they'll be coming online, coming on the market. So go all the way back to the end now. You got to put your camera down or let Sam.
So that it is the temporary storage facility. It will be presented in an appropriate way. Right now you're in our storage room, so just watch your step. Half of this was curated by Fred Minnick. We've got some others from Bill Thomas of Jack Rose, and it turns out there's a lot of basements in Kentucky that have a lot of rare bourbon kind of just resting there. So our oldest bottle goes back to 1892. This is the Cedar Brook Distillery, Anderson County. McBrayer, he built the railroad from Louisville all the way out to Anderson County. So that's kind of what he's known for. Also the great, I think it's two great grandfather, Dixon Deadman of Kentucky Owl. So this is kind of like
Through the
bourbon
generations.
history,
Yeah.
and then with the Stoli announcement, this is the scope of bourbon as we know it right here. 1892 Cedarbrook, fantastic bottle. We also have
Showing the condition of the bottle.
it's got a little crack, so we got to be very careful with it.
Oh no! When did that happen?
It also seems to be evaporating a little bit, which could have been Sam or it could be science. But if you want to smell that, how it's holding up, it's pretty interesting from 1892 that you get those flavors.
It tastes great. I mean,
1892.
1892.
Mm-hmm.
So, where were you?
How are you going to tell David that when that bottle cracks and all leaks out?
I'll say, take it over, Steve. Fortuna Bourbon. This is right before the plant shut down for World War I. So you're looking at 1919. They needed the alcohol for plastics, parachutes, things like that. Awesome. This one we're super proud of. There's 9 of these in the world. We got 2 from a Christie's auction.
The old overhaul.
The old overhaul. Andrew Mellon Scaife, he owned a big piece of this. He knew, he's Secretary of Treasury, he knew Prohibition was hitting, so he ordered 1,000 cases for himself for entertaining. And there's no information besides the distillation year, which is pretty incredible. So there you go. 19, and so it would have been about a 10-year bourbon when you got these. Fred worked really hard to get these for us. So many thanks to
Yeah,
him.
these are all things that need to be obviously on display at some point.
Yes, and they will. And then kind of goes through history. You know, you have these 1930s Old Crow, just some incredible rare bottles. Then we go into kind of through time, more modern. We have the complete birthday bourbon series, Parker's, these older Eagle Rares, Stag, Sazerac, some old wild turkeys, which actually are incredible. For value on the vintage pour, that's probably as good as it gets. It's incredible. Some of these Stitzel-Wellers, the 750 size coming out of the Stitzel-Weller distillery. Orphan Barrel series as we move around. And we are getting hang tags as well. The blue tape is not forever, but it is our organization series. Some of the Jefferson's line, and as you know, we produce 100% of Jefferson's now. So we have a lot of these old Jeffersons coming in.
Yeah, some of those like that chef's collaboration. I really like both of them. That mixture.
Yeah.
Really
Well, Ed Lee,
enjoyable.
Louisville native on the most recent. So and these the older ones, we really try to tell a story with them too. You know, we find bourbons that mean something to us, that have history, a character, and that we're proud of. And so this is over 400 bottles, complete chess set, 1969
With the
Old
chessboard.
Crow.
Unbelievable.
And if you wrote in and you would collect them, so you would write a letter to Old Crow, dear Old Crow, I collected all of them, and they would send you this
Which we have set
Amazing.
up entirely.
Really?
Yeah.
chessboard.
I don't know how many people have seen that before. So this was something, if you wrote into them, they would send this to you.
As a reward for
As a
collecting, as you know, bourbon, you know, they
Yeah.
were looking for ways to market bourbon
Yeah.
in 1969.
Yeah.
Someone said, you know, what would be a great idea?
Unbelievable.
They're beautiful pieces too. We have some out.
Was that the only year that it was produced? 1969.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yep. And there's not too many. I mean, this is a complete set, which is incredibly rare. Fred Minnick said this is the best bourbon he's ever tasted in his life, which is
Really?
pretty incredible.
Yeah,
We
that's
have a
That says a lot.
3 or 4 complete sets.
That says a lot.
yeah.
Ceramic decanters too.
Yeah, they're
They kind of look like
fantastic.
They're beautiful.
gorgeous. We're super proud of this set. The plan is to have 2 chess masters come and play each other with them.
Yeah.
Really?
We'll put that on.
How fantastic would that
You
be?
know, we're
To
hopefully
watch, like,
that'll
two chess-
happen.
Oh my gosh.
You know, in
They
the
get a
not
sip
too
with each
distant
move.
future.
Yeah, I'd like to see how that finishes.
Yeah, there's just some the Elijah Craig's here going back
Oh yeah.
18, 20,
20,
you know,
21.
21. We got 23 back here. Evan Williams.
Yeah,
It's just pretty incredible stuff.
Some family estate, family
Yeah, this
reserves.
is-
Oh, yeah.
Van
Before
Winkle's a really
Steve
cool
brought
one.
his lawsuit down on them,
Yeah,
they were sued, not Steve directly, but yeah, they were sued over this. This is pre-lawsuit Van Winkle Family
Really?
Reserve, 16 years old, barreled in 1974. So what would that?
think that's-
Mathematicians, 58?
58.
58.
2 years after I was born. So that was my goal tonight, was to try, if possible, something from 1972. The year I was born.
Almost positive we
We could
can make
probably
that
make that
happen.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
If
we
possible. I know
will.
sometimes it can be difficult.
Well, we have
but-
our menu where we have the dates, and I bet I can find something where we can
definitely
make that
have
happen.
A lot from. I think we have a whole category from the 1970s.
Yeah, so it's cool. I mean, there's just so many bottles. I mean, you
Yeah.
could spend your whole day just looking through
Yeah,
these
it's unbelievable.
incredible whiskeys. There you go, 15-year Monticello. Baltimore, Maryland. You know, they used to do so much rye out there. We have a Four Roses from the 30s, you know, where it was being in Pikesville,
Yeah.
outside Baltimore. So much rye was coming out of there.
Well, in that kind of like northeast, that's like a great like rye growing area, I believe. Isn't
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where that,
So-
Canada, and overseas is your
Yeah.
rye. There's not any produced down this way
Yeah.
that's in quality.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So what I brought, let's
what
see,
a
what could we
collection.
try here? Let's see.
There
What
is,
looks delicious. Do we see a 72? I brought some glasses.
If I looked
for
at
us.
the menu for a minute, I could probably find some. This.
Well, you know what I love, and I think we should really try that. I'm proud of is this wild turkey. I was talking about. I've been on a kick. So if you want,
Oh,
would
yeah.
you like to try something? Is there
Absolutely.
one that you see that you'd like to try? I'm on
Whatever-
specific directions to let you try some stuff.
whatever you want to pull, I am
I am 100% open to
Steve?
whatever you want to suggest.
You've already drained my
I
bottle.
do.
He had they had a bottle in here of Maker's Mark.
Yeah, we need to replace
101
it.
I
green
think everything in
wax.
here is
And
1970s.
I produced that when I was down there. So
Really?
the big story is we have antique spirits and the antique here.
Well, let's do
We'll
that.
get you
If
standing up and
if there's something you've got that you produced back in the
We
day,
do.
let's
Where's
let's
that?
do it.
It's
Yeah,
gone.
let's.
It's gone.
If
We
there's
checked,
anything,
you know, Greg, he came in here.
We do have a modern.
Yeah.
I think that
Maker's
was what did it.
Yeah.
Um,
He was taking it out of the bottle, I think,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
a couple of there's like a gold label Maker's Mark.
Oh, there is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's find that.
I can.
Pardon us. We could look on
I
the
wish-
menu, but
No,
I
it's
wish-
gonna
I
be.
wish my
It's gonna be in the
bunker looked
higher
halfway like
ends
this.
for
This is
sure.
unbelievable.
Orphan barrels.
No, that's not it.
Steve, can't you feel it? Can't you just feel where it is at this point?
Okay.
Where did
Put
the
your
ends
hand and see
start?
if you feel Maker's Mark.
I got it right here.
There it is. Right
Yeah,
back there.
it worked.
Yeah. So this is this is a cool one. Maybe Steve can tell me more
Okay.
about it.
Yes, Steve. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah,
This is their
yeah. Do me,
limited
yeah,
edition.
Yeah, do me a favor.
Yeah.
And tell me.
Never
about
been
this.
opened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Limited edition. This is 101 proof, I think. I don't have my glasses, so you're going to have to read it.
Let's
What
see.
does it say?
It is 101. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So special.
Because we started out the 101 was the gold wax, and then as it evolved and they quit doing the higher proof, they changed the gold wax to the VIP bottles. So here we go.
Cracking the seal.
You got Steve Nally opening the gold wax
This is an
Maker's
exclusive
Mark.
right here. Is
Oh,
what
this is as exclusive as it gets.
This was 99% sure produced by me.
Fantastic. You got it all right? Beautiful.
There we go.
There you go.
Oh, look at that nice color too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful.
How about that?